Hello, ladies. I'm so excited to be here today, and I know there's some gentlemen that have joined us for a short time, and I welcome you too. I know that when I first talked to Martha about what she wanted me to speak about at this retreat, she said the ladies really want to hear about boundaries. How do we set boundaries? What are boundaries? And what is it that we do with boundaries? I taught for 3 years. My husband and I led a class about 3 times a year, an 8-week class on boundaries. So I felt like I was pretty qualified about that. Now that was about 10 years ago that we were doing that. Since then, I want to share with you that boundaries has been fleshed out as I've done research on that. There's something else that has come into my life in the last couple of years that has made me realize that before we could actually have boundaries, there's something that I need to share with you that's much more important. That actually leads us into having healthy boundaries instead of boundaries that we set. Now, I want to tell you, boundaries are good. They're very, very good. But they can be kind of mechanical. If you set a boundary, and I'm talking about like if Kelly says something to me, then sometimes, and she's being ugly to me about it, then I need to set a boundary to say, Kelly, you don't have to talk to me that way. If you could just tell me your point, share with me what you want, then I can hear it better without being angry. That's a boundary, and that's a good, healthy boundary. We all, in our families, in our relationships, everywhere we go, we need boundaries. But you know what? One of the reasons that we need to set boundaries, usually with people, is because inside of us, people have hurt us. All the way from the beginning of our life. Sometimes, like in my case, as I shared my testimony in my life about my life last night, you can see where even from the beginning of little children, your boundaries get crushed and they get hurt and they cause us to have a lot of pain and to live in that pain. So what we do as adults is we put these fences, these boundaries all around us, saying, you can't talk to me that way. What good does that do? Or to just ignore somebody, or not talk to somebody at all. Or the most important thing, ignore people in our family. Because we hurt, because we have pain, because we're lashing out in our anger. The lack of boundaries and where people hurt us a lot of times is because they don't know what to do, and so they lash out at us because of something that's happened to them, and then we get all of that pain just bound up in us, and we lash out, or we put walls around us. It looks all kinds of different ways, and those are all unhealthy boundaries. But let me share with you a way that you can get around those and have healthy boundaries. The research and the things that I have learned in my life over the last probably 3 years is when you experience forgiveness for the people that have hurt you, that is what can be a boundary breaker, or even more important, a boundary setter, to set a healthy boundary within your soul. So this message that I'm going to talk to you about this morning, before I can go to boundaries, which we're going to talk about tonight, this morning I want to talk to you about forgiveness. And I want to talk to you about how important forgiveness is before you can set a boundary. Because if you set a boundary against somebody that you don't like, whether it's somebody who's hurt you, like in my case, my stepfather, who abuse me, and I want to set a boundary to not have anything to do with him. That's caused out of hate. It's caused out of bitterness. It's caused out of anger. But what better boundary if I forgive that person? And I forgive that person because I myself have been forgiven of everything that has happened to me and that I've done. So I'm able to forgive my stepfather for that. And that enables me to not feel the hate, the bitterness. Perhaps your church has hurt you in some way. A lot of people have been hurt by religion. And I'm not going to talk to you about religion today. I'm going to talk to you about a relationship, not religion. Because a relationship that you have with a person who has forgiven you of your sins, and that's my Heavenly Father, through His Son, Jesus Christ. And that's what we're going to talk about, is that forgiveness and how to have that forgiveness, how to experience that forgiveness that gives you the freedom to set healthy boundaries. And that's what I'm going to help you do tonight. I am a certified coach with a ministry called Forgiving Forward. And what I do with people on a regular basis is I sit down with them and I coach them through forgiveness, on how to forgive the people that have hurt them. And that's what I'm going to share with you this morning, so that you, as you listen this morning, can know by tonight how to set those healthy boundaries. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to tie all of that together. So when you leave here from Wimberley, Texas, you will be going home to wherever your home is to know how to set boundaries, but even more, how to be free from so many things, so many hurts in your life, and to experience the freedom of forgiveness.